PC.
Life's rough.
When you depend on me.
To give you
weapons and armor information for your journey and still you're pushing and trying to hurt me.
Life's tough.
When you're an NPC.
Life's rough.
When you depend on...
Hello and welcome back. And as you can see, we are in the home stretch when it comes to the World of Darkness games. We've pretty much covered just about all of them. But luckily, the newest edition of Vampire the Masquerade is going to come out soon. And that's going to be some fun pickings as far as I'm concerned. So, for now though, let's continue on and tackle one of the other games from the New World of Darkness line that I have yet to spotlight. And that is Mummy the Curse. Boy, is Mummy the weird stepchild of the World of Darkness series. Similar to the previous games, Mummy was one of the last games on the docket for the New World of Darkness line, and just like before, it is just as bizarre, strange, and lacks some sort of cult following that games like Vampire, Werewolf, Changeling, and Mage all enjoy. Mummy always seems to be that one that is kind of left out whenever you have your huge debates amongst other World of Darkness friends about what's the best game in the series. I've heard one just about every single one, with the exception of Mummy, to which most people don't really remember it. Personally speaking, I have never run across anybody that has stuck up for Mummy as one of the all-time greats in the line. And now I'm going to wait for the comment section to prove me wrong on that one. Which, I guess strangely enough, I find myself as one of those people who thinks that Mummy needs more attention, because I legit think it is one of the more underrated games out there, especially Mummy the Curse. Mummy the Resurrection, not so much. That one pretty much deserves the praise that I give it, but it was still weird and does not deserve to be bumped up any higher station than it already reached. Mummy the Curse, though, now this is one that is definitely interesting. Unlike Mummy the Resurrection, Mummy the Curse kind of dispenses with the white hat thing and gives a mythos that is a little more in keeping with the World of Darkness lines. It's one of those things where, unlike Changeling, that was kind of a refreshing change of pace, even Mummy the Resurrection, for the praise that I did give it, still kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. So it really helps for this one, for instance, to really gel with the rest of the games in the New World of Darkness line. The game itself was penned by C.A. Suleiman, a prolific writer and developer for White Wolf and Onyx Path Publishing. While some of his earlier work went into Old World of Darkness books, such as World of Darkness Mafia and Cairo by Night, he mostly fell into the New World of Darkness line, being one of the authors for Vampire the Requiem, the Mind's Eye Theater version of Requiem, Orpheus, and Mummy the Curse. So, needless to say, if you know my feelings towards Vampire the Requiem, then you know that I have feelings about this guy and the work that he put into certain things. But I'm not going to deny that the man is definitely talented, and it certainly shows it a lot more in Mummy the Curse than it does in Vampire the Requiem. Once more, I feel like the comparison game comes into play. It is impossible to not compare the original World of Darkness to its New World of Darkness counterparts. They are purposely newer games in spirit, even though they have a new design, a new theme, and a new system. The fact is that there are two versions of the same mythos by the same developer means that you're going to have a compare and contrast. It's inevitable. In some cases, like Vampire the Requiem, a game that I fully admit to probably be a good game and well written, looks poor compared to its competition. In this case, Mummy the Curse seems to be a decently good game, probably a pretty good game, that is pushed to a much higher station due to the fact that Mummy the Resurrection was so bizarre, if not still well received. Mummy the Curse is much more darker. It's much more sinister. There's a little bit more evil out there, and it adds for a lot of characters, though it has a very wide range of emotions. It's not so much the good guys, as much as you can be a good guy, or you could be just like any other World of Darkness thing, where the lines are extremely grayed. Mummy the Curse is the story of the Arisen. These were people who were subjected to the right of return in the Nameless Empire, or Irem. As such, they were mummified and their souls were eternally bound to their mortal bodies, thus always ensuring that they return to their old selves with their bodies reforming anew. Which sounds a lot like Doctor Who if the Doctor was a little bit more of like a desiccated beef jerky. While still traveling through the underworld, you must first be judged by the 42 judges of Duat, The last judge gives them their guiding light through life known as a decree. Like other New World of Darkness games, the mechanics are split into two sections, one being their decree and the other being their guild affiliation. And the guilds themselves, I'm not going to critique them too much, but they definitely have that MMO feeling, or at least where some MMOs are concerned, where the guild, quote-unquote, is only really connected by one thinly veiled thing that they do, and then it's mainly just a meeting spot for a lot of people to congregate who, I don't know, like sewing or writing or something like that. Feels much more like a high school club than it does a guild. 5 decrees follow the line of spiritualities. There are heart, spirit, essence, name, and shadow. Out of the guilds, there are the Makep, those who favor amulets, the Mason Nebu, who favor Regia vessels, the Seisha Hebisu, that prefer text, Su Menent, who prefer Uter vessels, Melanatef Abi, who prefer effigies. So, with the combined decree as well as the guild, your mummy has an understanding of this world, of who they are, what they stand to accomplish, and what powers they have in order to move forward through this world. Beyond that, most of the game is dealing with being undead. The majority of the antagonists are either other risen, ghosts who are pissy about being used by mummies, or mortal treasure hunters and scholars out to fuck over their day. Motivation is a little bit lacking in this game. Whenever you can look at Vampire, you can definitely tell that it's a much more of a political game, that you're not so much worried about combat, while that could certainly be the case, but it's much more about political dealings. When it comes to Mummy the Curse, there's still kind of a, I'm not really sure where they kind of fit, what game I'm supposed to kind of play in it. I mean, you could certainly cook them up, and I mean, it leaves it open as such. It's just saying that whenever it comes to the actual mythos itself, motivation is lacking just a little bit, and that can be a little bit of a problem, especially for a storyteller who's not as well versed in storytelling to come up with a good story. So where exactly does Mummy the Curse fall? It's certainly one that's not exactly falling into the amazingly good or horrifically bad category. It's one of the ones that's kind of skirting in the middle and can kind of fall either way, depending upon your preferences. Overall, I think that this game gets a crit. Now, it's not going to make any top 5 greatest World of Darkness games, and the fan base is not as big as other games like Vampire or Mage or Werewolf, but it still certainly is a good game, and considering the fact that it's still in the Chronicles of Darkness, World of Darkness, you could even create so much with it. You can create antagonists, protagonists, NPCs and whatnot using this mythology. It's really very fascinating, and I think that the small cons are definitely outweighed by the pros that the game gives. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. Please follow me on Patreon. Become my patron. And thank you all so much. I look forward to talking to y'all next week.